Well, the media is out here trying to distance Donald Trump from the Republican Party's plans to ban abortion nationwide. But thankfully, Kamala Harris is shutting it down. My name is Brittany Page, and this is the Page Perspective. First, most of my views come from people who are not yet subscribed. So I would really appreciate it if you would take just a moment to click the subscribe button below. Thank you so much. So by now, most of us have heard about Project 2025 and know that it is a right-wing blueprint to radically transform the government the moment that Donald Trump takes office. While I think many notable aspects of Project 2025 have been covered well, there is a specific element to it that I think hasn't been covered enough, and that is the Republican plan to ban abortion nationwide. So this video is going to be filled with receipts for you to be fully informed, so you can take this information with you and help educate those around you to change hearts and minds. But first, we're going to start with Vice President Kamala Harris's interview on CBS this weekend with Norah O'Donnell. I'm going to put together two clips here from that interview about Project 2025 and about abortion specifically. Watch as the media continues to default to Donald Trump's framing of issues, and watch as Kamala Harris refuses to accept it.
And when you argue that Donald Trump, if elected, would put forward a national abortion ban.
Just read Project 2025.
The former president said that's not true. He
He says everything. Come on, are we really taking his word for it? He said that women should be punished. He has been all over the place on this. But I'm too busy watching what he's doing to see what he has said.
You know that Donald Trump has disavowed Project 2025. He says that is not his campaign plan.
As you know, I am a former prosecutor. His DNA is all over it. All over it. His running mate wrote forward to the book of the author of Project 2025. I believe Donald Trump's name appears at least 300 times in Project 2025, and it is a blueprint, a detailed blueprint that is about the danger and the detail of what Donald Trump and his allies plan if he is in the White House again.
He says everything. Come on. Are we really taking his word for it? That is exactly right. Kamala Harris is right. If we search Trump's name in the Mandate for Leadership, the Project 2025 playbook, we see Trump is mentioned 312 times. But given that Norah O'Donnell wants to focus on the national abortion ban and wants to ensure that the viewers of this interview come away thinking that Trump has disavowed Project 2025, I want to take you through the facts. Kamala Harris is right that Donald Trump has said many things about abortion. From his first run for president when he said the woman needs some form of punishment.
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
10 cents, 10 years.
I don't know. That I don't know.
To everything in between. So what should we believe? Should we assume the best about Donald Trump, or should we assume the worst? I believe the latter. I think Donald Trump says whatever is politically expedient, and he knows that abortion rights are a losing issue for Republicans right now because they are on the wrong side of history as they restrict freedom and get women killed. That's why we should look into the 2024 Republican Party platform, which makes it clear that they support, quote, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States guarantees that no person can be denied life or liberty without due process, and that the states are therefore free to pass laws protecting those rights. And if you aren't sure what all that means, it means that they want to use the 14th Amendment to extend protections of life and liberty from the moment of conception. You've heard me talk about this before. It's the personhood movement. And it was the reason behind the Alabama Supreme Court case earlier this year that temporarily halted IVF in the state. Anti-abortion activists, as always, are scrappy and take multi-pronged approaches to doing their dirty work. Personhood is just one way that they are trying to ban abortion nationwide. But we're still trying to figure out what to believe, right, about the Republican plan for banning abortion. So let's look to Donald Trump's choice for vice president, Senator J.D. Vance, running from comments he made in 2022 that he'd like to see abortion banned nationwide. That's what you heard J.D. Vance during the VP debate saying he doesn't support a national abortion ban, but supports a, quote, minimum national standard, which is a national abortion ban. When they talk about a minimum national standard, where they would ban abortion nationwide at, say, 15 weeks, that is a national abortion ban. Do not let their little reindeer games fool you. But most importantly, and this is bringing it back to Project 2025, abortion is mentioned nearly 200 times in Project 2025's blueprint. This issue is a priority for Republicans, and another method by which Republicans are seeking to further restrict access to abortion is by enforcing the Comstock Act of 1873. And let's turn to KFF to see what it is before we get into Project 2025 and Donald Trump's plan for using it to ban abortion nationwide. Quote, the Comstock Act, an 1873 anti-vice law banning the mailing of obscene matter and articles used to produce abortion, could be used by a future presidential administration opposed to abortion rights to sharply restrict abortion nationwide. Now, when you hear banning the mailing of articles used to produce an abortion, I want you to think of every possible item that could be used there, because I can guarantee you that that is what the Republicans are doing. And by this, I mean medications used in abortions, but also medical instruments used in abortion procedures in medical offices that are shipped in the mail. But let's also think about the distribution chain here. Republicans are surely not just thinking about banning mailing abortion pills from doctors to patients. They are also surely thinking about the mailing of abortion pills from manufacturers to abortion providers. Right now, they're focused on abortion pills like mifepristone, but we can imagine a world where Republicans use the Comstock Act to go further and expand their efforts to go beyond the provider-patient relationship and move to disrupt manufacturers' ability to reach providers. Now, how is all of this related to Trump and Project 2025? If we look at page 562 of Project 2025's Mandate for Leadership, we will see this headline, quote, announcing a campaign to enforce the criminal prohibitions in 18 U.S. Code 1461 and 1462 against providers and distributors of abortion pills that use the mail. Federal law prohibits mailing every article, instrument, substance, drug, medicine, or thing which is advertised or described in a manner calculated to lead another to use or apply it for producing abortion. Following the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs, there is now no federal prohibition on the enforcement of this statute. The Department of Justice in the next conservative administration should therefore announce its intent to enforce federal law against providers and distributors of such pills. Republicans are working overtime to chip away at what remaining access we have to abortion in this country. You may remember in June of this year when the Supreme Court ruled that a case that could have restricted access to mifepristone, the abortion pill, lacked standing. Well, 3 states are taking up the issue again because Republicans will not stop until abortion is banned nationwide. And still, if someone watching this may be wondering, okay, I see the picture of how Republicans want to ban abortion nationwide, but how is this connected to Donald Trump? Great question. Back in January 2023, J.D. Vance signed a letter with about 40 other Republican lawmakers, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ted Cruz, and Jim Jordan, calling on the Department of Justice to enforce the Comstock Act to prevent the distribution of abortion pills, writing, quote, we demand that you act swiftly and in accordance with the law, shut down all mail-order abortion operations, and hold abortionists, pharmacists, international traffickers, and online purveyors who break the federal mail-order abortion laws accountable. Signed, Donald Trump's pick for Vice President, J.D. Vance. And of course, let's not forget this gem from February of this year in the New York Times. Quote, "We don't need a federal ban when we have Comstock on the books," said Jonathan F. Mitchell, the legal force behind a 2021 Texas law that found a way to effectively ban abortion in the state before Roe v. Wade was overturned. Quote, "There's a smorgasbord of options." Mr. Mitchell, who represented Mr. Trump in arguments before the Supreme Court over whether the former president could appear on the ballot in Colorado, indicated that anti-abortion strategists had purposefully been quiet about their more advanced plans, given the political liability the issue has become for Republicans. Quote, "I hope he," meaning Donald Trump, "doesn't know about the existence of Comstock, because I just don't want him to shoot off his mouth," Mr. Mitchell said of Mr. Trump. Quote, "I think the pro-life groups should keep their mouths shut as much as possible until the election." And I guess if all of this isn't enough, maybe we should hear from Donald Trump directly on Comstock.
As president, would you enforce the Comstock Act, which could prohibit the sale of or the distribution of medication abortion by mail?
No, we will be discussing specifics of it, but generally speaking, no.
No, but we will be discussing specifics of it, but generally speaking, no. What specifics might those be, Donald? Did you guys find that no reassuring from a dude who loves to lie constantly? So, is Donald Trump separate and apart from Project 2025 and its goals when he is surrounded by people directly involved in Project 2025 and the Republican Party platform aligns with those goals and Republican officials hope he doesn't talk about Comstock so as to not make the general public concerned about the Republican efforts to enforce the Comstock Act to further restrict access to abortion in this country? Of course not. As Kamala Harris said, his DNA is all over it. And after all this time, he does not deserve to be given the benefit of the doubt. But why does this matter? Why is this so important for the media to get right? Women are dying from abortion bans. Maternal mortality rates are up. Infant mortality rates are up. And we aren't even talking about the impact on those who have been forced to carry pregnancies to term, those who are now trapped in poverty, trapped in abusive relationships, forced to accept terms of a life they did not want and would not choose if only they had the freedom to do so, if only they had a choice. You know, I've heard vague rumblings that many women are one-issue voters this year, sometimes said in a dismissive or insulting way, as though women only care about abortion, as if caring about abortion is not important, as if abortion is not many things, from healthcare to an economic issue. The ability to control one's reproduction is an essential and fundamental freedom, and the Republican Party is prepared to do whatever it takes to ban abortion nationwide. Please understand this and take it seriously. We can't let it happen. Please vote. What do you think? Call and tell me, 657-464-7609, or send an email to idoubtit@dollemore.com. You can support my work by clicking the join button below and becoming a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month, or by going to patreon.com/idoubtitpodcast. Tell me how you're feeling as the election inches closer. I'm feeling a bit better today, I think only because I feel productive and feel like we are doing something here by talking about these important issues and ensuring that people know what we're up against. So thank you for being here and thank you for engaging with this video. Take care, and I will see you next time.